as the Labour Party moves to cancel local elections, claiming the reforms will secure their victory. A growing wave of discontent echoes across the United Kingdom.
In other news, Labour have decided to cancel local elections because Reform are going to win all of them. Expect to see a lot of words explaining this and a lot of wiggling and a lot more of Angela Rayner with her terrible pronunciation and her ginger growler out all over the place. First up, a brilliant picture emerges of Trump, Elon Musk, Nick Candy and, oh yes, Nigel Farage. The power of these guys together is simply enormous. It will make Nigel Farage unbeatable. He will be Prime Minister of Great Britain by 2027, if not before.
An even more alarming narrative emerges on the horizon: the immigration crisis, the neglect of the elderly, and now the scandal of black hole in public finances. What lies beneath the government's decisions, and how are figures like Nigel Farage and Hopkins shaping the country's political future? Before we get started, let me take a moment to share something personal. I'm an independent journalist, and like many of you, I've faced enormous challenges recently. This channel is my way of connecting with those who believe our country deserves better, more transparency, more fairness, and more opportunity. My mission is simple: to empower people with the information they need to make better decisions and to help us build a brighter future together. But I can't do this alone. If this video reaches 800 likes and 20 shares, we can amplify this message and help even more people understand what's at stake. Every like and share matters. The Labour government faces accusations of negligence. While thousands of immigrants are housed in comfortable hotels, homeless British citizens are left to face the winter without significant assistance. The disparity is stark, and resentment is growing. The Reform Party, led by Nigel Farage, has emerged as an opposing force, pledging to give a voice to forgotten Britons. But the issues go beyond immigration. The UK's elderly population is grappling with soaring energy bills and broken promises. Starmer pledged to compensate WASPI women and protect the winter fuel allowance, only to backtrack. Hopkins and Farage highlight these failings, weaving a powerful narrative of neglect and abandonment.
In other news, Keir Starmer continues his plan to kill off the elderly. He has taken away winter fuel allowance. Now, winter fuel payments, which are targeted to the most in need, won't make it in time for winter. And WASPI women who were shafted about getting their pensions, he promised them he would give them compensation, and now he's not going to do that. These people didn't vote for the Labour Party, and frankly, the sooner they die off, in his opinion, the better.
Now, a new chapter unfolds: the black hole and accusations of corruption. Reeves, the shadow Chancellor, and Keir Starmer have repeatedly cited a 22 billion figure to justify fiscal cuts and adjustments. However, critics, including members of the Conservative opposition, accuse Reeves of overstating the situation's severity. Former Chancellor Jeremy Hunt and investigative journalist Sarah Thompson have described claims of such a massive deficit as fictitious, casting doubt on the government's assertions. This strategy of conjuring a black hole is widely seen as an attempt to divert attention from the government's failures to address the real needs of British citizens. Nigel Farage was quick to seize on this narrative, arguing that Labour has not only mismanaged the country's finances, but is also employing deceitful tactics to justify unpopular policies. If they're willing to lie about such crucial figures, what else are they hiding? Farage asks at his rallies, bolstering his position as a champion of transparency and honesty in politics. Additionally, if you'd like to delve deeper into Sarah Thompson's investigative report on the alleged black hole, we've included a video with a robust analysis on this topic at the end of this post.
Finally, Keir Starmer says we can't be having, Elon Musk funding Farage. I mean, that's overseas electoral interference. We can't be having that. Oh no, we need new rules, new regs, new laws. We will not have overseas electoral interference. Keir, is that the same you that sent over 100 Labour volunteers over to America, paid for their flights, paid for their accommodation to campaign for Kamala? I mean, what is that? if not overseas electoral interference, and also just plain stupid.
Starmer points to supposed foreign interference, accusing Elon Musk of funding Farage. But what about Labour's own actions, such as sending volunteers abroad to support American candidates? This hypocrisy hasn't gone unnoticed. Meanwhile, there are clear attempts to silence critical voices. Proposals to ban figures like Farage and Lee Anderson have been floated, with Katie Hopkins arguing they represent the country's silent majority, overlooked by the elite. Why, amidst so many domestic needs, is David Lammy, the Foreign Secretary, allocating $50 million to Syria? Could this be a strategy to cultivate a future electoral base? And why do these foreign priorities overshadow the urgent demands of British citizens? What does leadership mean in times of crisis? Silencing critics or listening to the people's voice? Farage and Hopkins raise questions that resonate deeply. Are British citizens less important than international interests and abstract policies?
David Lammy, our Foreign Secretary, a man who makes Tess Daly of Strictly look like she has a brilliant strategic mind, is going to send 50 million quid of your money over to vulnerable people over in Syria. You may ask, why would we be sending money to them? Well, their views, which are essentially that women should be covered and mute and there should be Sharia law, aligns very closely with the future voting base for Labour right here in the UK. I would say, why not give 50 quid to each of the 1 million vulnerable British pensioners who are expected to survive the winter without a heating allowance?
An online petition questioning Starmer's leadership has already amassed 2.9 million signatures. Meanwhile, Farage positions himself as the genuine alternative, promising to overturn policies that prioritize immigrants over vulnerable Britons. Hopkins states, "We cannot allow our elderly citizens to be left behind while the government ignores their basic needs. It's time to act."
My name is Chancellor Rachel Reeves, ceramic bobhead, hair by Lego, dress by Lord Ali, fresh from Keir Starmer, and heating provided by the taxpayer. Comrades, my name is Keir Starmer, and I'm here to the foundations. When I became your Prime Minister, not only did I get new hair and glasses provided by a donor who now has full access to 10 Downing Street and my bedroom, we were promised three things. Number one, we would be fully costed and fully funded. We're so fully funded and fully costed, we're essentially just like Katie Price.
And you? What are your thoughts on the UK's future? Share your opinion in the comments, like this video, and share it so more people can join this vital discussion.
We are wondering, when does it stop? And it doesn't look like anytime soon. Keir Starmer and his Labour government have just passed something that takes away 300 quid from our elderly that they use to heat their homes. This will kill old people this winter. They will die because of this, and yet every single Labour MP voted for it apart from one, and 50 of the cretins decided to abstain, thinking this would somehow absolve them of their sins. No, it doesn't. If there's one thing worse than being a coward in public, it's being a coward and spineless in private. I spit on all of you, and you can arrest me for that all you want. To the people who refuse to acknowledge what's happening here in the UK and what's being done to you, I would say this: if you carry on like this with your head in the sand, it's always going to be so much easier, isn't it, for the government to take you right up the